Hey dudes, today we're talking about another Turkish import, the Tisas Zigana Sport. Any of you guys have seen the Çanak 55s or the Sarzamaz pistols? The Turks make some great guns. For the price, it really can't be beat. You're looking for this model, all black, $399. For the duotone, about $430. The full chrome version is currently not imported, but they plan to soon. It uses Metgar magazines from a Sig P226, so magazines are easily obtainable. It's a full alloy frame, stainless slide, with a 5.11 inch compensated barrel, with some port cuts in the slide and the frame. It's a pretty beefy pistol. I was afraid, since I have smaller hands, that it wouldn't fit my hands too well, but it's really not bad. The way they made the grips, they did some relief cuts for the fingers, and my hand actually wraps around it really well despite being how thick it is. It's more geared towards right-hand shooters. It's got a palm swell on the right grip and no swell on the left grip. It is a hammer-fired gun with a decocker and safety mounted on the slide, which I'm usually against. I hate slide-mounted safeties and much prefer frame-mounted. However, since this is going to be primarily a target and range gun, I looked past that aspect. It's got a very large trigger well, so if you run gloves, that's not an issue. It's got some jimping up front if you wrap your finger around. It's got a few lines up front, very low LPI. I mean, probably, God, maybe 10 lines per inch. Nothing crazy, but in my opinion, better than nothing. It's got a full cold forged barrel. Takedown is just like, I don't know if any of you have fired XDM or XD. I'm sure you have. Very similar to the Springfield. Use pull back to slide. Lock it. You got your lever. Push the lever down. The slide comes right off. It's got very long guide rails. It's pretty oiled. I don't know if you guys can see how oiled it is. I haven't really cleaned it. It's got very long forward slide rails and about 1.25 inch long rear slide rails. So it gives you a nice solid hold for your slide. The frame is actually pretty light, it being alloy. And then you got your nice big beefy slide. It does use a full length stainless steel guide rod. And it is very heavily sprung. They spring it for NATO rounds, so most rounds that you're going to be firing here, it's just going to give you some unnecessary recoil. But I am currently searching for a lighter sprung spring for that. You got your barrel here. You can see the ports on both sides. Nice long barrel. And I don't know if you guys can see, but the quality in this, the milling is really great. There's no, milling marks, no burrs, really nothing. It's just very cleanly done. The quality of these Turkish pistols, be it a Çanak 55, the Tisas, they're very high. I know right now the Tisas 1911s are very hot. A lot of people are buying them specifically for that reason. They're priced really great. And they're just really high quality firearms. There are a couple downsides to this gun, however. It's not the gun's fault, it's just kind of the nature of the beast. If you want replaceable grips, it's probably not going to happen unless you contact their factory directly in Turkey. They do have an array of different grips at the factory, wood and otherwise, but for you to get them, it's going to be pretty expensive from what I've seen. You're talking over $120 for a set. It's got a pretty beefy extractor. And from what I can tell, I tried to look as best I can for some metal injection parts. And from what I can tell, the only thing is maybe the slide release and the takedown. Oh, and possibly the decocker and safety. But other than that, everything's machined. It's just a really high quality pistol for the money. I don't know if any of you were aware, a few years ago they had a slightly different version of the Sport imported by ATI called the FS9. It looked very similar to this with a slightly shorter barrel and no relief cuts in the frame. Back then it was going for $300. Now this is going for $400, and the price is just steadily increasing as people are finding out the quality of these Turkish firearms. If you're looking for a very accurate target pistol, I can't recommend this enough. It's double action, single action, with the double action trigger being a very long and very heavy 10 pounds. That would normally be a pretty big downside for me, but I'm not going to be shooting it in double action very often. Now where it gets good is the single action trigger is a very light, very crisp 3.5 pounds. Fantastic for the range, fantastic for target shooting. This thing is crazy, crazy accurate. The reset is beautiful too. Let's see if I can get this here for you. Alright. So you got 3.5 pound pull. Reset right there. I mean, it's just beautiful. The sights are plastic and non-adjustable, unfortunately. If you want to change out your sights, that's going to be a no-go for the front, as it uses a lengthwise dovetail that is wider than the CZ75B lengthwise dovetails. So unless you rig something, I don't know what you're going to do with that. The rear, I'm sure you can find a dovetail sight for that. You're just going to have to match it to the front, no matter what you end up doing. What I'm probably going to end up doing is cutting into the, because the sights are plastic, I'm going to be cutting a groove into here and drilling the holes, and going to put some fiber optic in there. I mean, it'll give me some better visibility for the range. So, yeah, as I was saying, uses SIG P226 Metgar magazines, which are cheap and very high quality. It used to come with 18 round, now it comes with 15 round, but Metgar does sell the 18 round 226 magazines, and they're only about $27, so it's easy to stock up on and have a lot of capacity for the range. Now with it being compensated and 9mm, it's very, very low recoil. The heavy spring does add more recoil than is necessary. As I said, that's why I want to change that. But other than that, the recoil is great, easy to get back on target, very long sight radius, and accurate, in my experience, out to over 60 yards, and that's all. I mean, that's as far as I went. I haven't even gone farther than that yet. It's probably accurate farther out to that. It's definitely a better shooter than I am. Like I said, the slide mounted decocker and safety, down to decock, and for the safety, the trigger just goes completely dead. Now it does use a similar action to a Beretta. As you can see, the grip kind of extends up here. It's because you've got that bar coming back here, and that's what the safety pushes down on the spring to release it from the action itself. It's a very comfortable gun to hold, not too heavy, and just crazy accurate. So for the money, it is hands down, leagues above almost anything else in the price range. I mean, I can't think of anything else that's built to a higher standard for the price than this gun. I mean, I have Chanik 55s, and those also have great milling, but I would say this is a little better than that. But all the Chanik firearms, or all the Turkish firearms for the most part, have some great manufacturing. Trying to get some close-ups here of the frame to slide fit. You can see that it's very tight, very, very tight tolerances. And here you can see the barrel, oh sorry, too low. Here you can see the barrel to the slide fit. And then here you can see again the frame to the slide fit. Very tight, no wiggle. I mean, it makes for a very accurate gun. You know, you don't have any wiggling parts, or, I mean, God, look at that. It's just, oh, sorry, oil. It's just manufactured very nice for the money. I don't see how they're selling it for that price and making much of a profit, if any. I think, in my opinion, I think they're underselling them to get a market in the American world, or in the American public. And then once they are known for the quality, I think they'll get a pretty hefty boost in price. As I said, Turkish firearms have already increased quite a bit. Canik 55s used to run $320, and now you're seeing them upwards of $450 to $500. This used to be $300 for the other version. Now this is, you know, $400, and that was only 2 years ago. So I really do recommend getting them now if you want them. If you're looking for a great range and target gun, can't recommend it enough. I really can't. Go out and pick one up. You'll be extremely satisfied with it. I haven't had any issues as of yet. It fires great. No failures. No failures to feed. No failures to eject. No issues whatsoever. I love this gun. No regrets buying it. So there you go. That is the short review for the Tisas Zigana Sport 5.11 inch compensated 9mm.